Tonight's meal, tilapia surprise with boiled cabbage. Begin cooking steps 1 through 50 now.
Are you kidding me? Making dinner shouldn't feel like doing a 1,000-piece puzzle. With Blue Apron's new one-pan assemble and bake meals, the hard part's already done. Pre-chopped ingredients, zero stress. Just assemble, bake, and enjoy. No complicated steps, no mountain of dishes. Try Assemble and Bake today. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
I'm Gary Birtles, one of the old gits from a long time ago. You've got to tune into Tricky Talks, I believe, so just do it. All the best.
Robertson, the first time we've seen them attack them, and there's Francis! Well, that's what I wanted to see Robertson do. And still Robertson, getting his shot in, and a goal! Robertson!
Hi there and welcome to Tricky Talks. You might notice that we're a little bit thin on the ground today. I believe that Simon has had a late call to go out to AFCON, so he's currently on a plane on his way there. We believe that Mollo's either been stuck up the chimney or stuck in the pub. So you've just got me and Chelsea today to talk to you about the absolute delight that was Fulham away last night, which, you know, we all had a really good time. Thanks for that, Mr. Dyche Grinch Christmas. And looking forward to the 27th when we take on Man City at home. So I suppose it's customary to say, how are you, Chelsea?
Yeah, I'm all right, Kate. I mean, I have got a bit of a cold over here, people, so if I do sound a bit nasally or you don't think it is me, it's still definitely me. I would have felt better if that was a win last night. That would have cheered me up a little bit, but we're going rogue today, Kate. It's just me and you. No boys are allowed on this podcast. No boys are allowed. It's like when the parents are away, the children will play, won't it? So we're going to see how this one goes.
Absolutely nobody to regulate what we're saying. Absolutely nobody to do some intensive technical analysis of why we are so completely inconsistent. Just two girls who know absolutely nothing about football, let's be honest. Just chatting away on a podcast. So enjoy this, everybody, and Merry Christmas to you.
Right, Kate, where do we start with yesterday's game? Should we talk about the lineup?
Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk about it. It was quite similar, really, wasn't it? So when we look at it, to replace Sangari, it was Douglas Luiz, wasn't it? John Victor was still in goal. Everything else was very similar. Personally, when I saw it, I was quite confident, to say the least. I thought to myself, okay, near enough same as Tottenham. Brilliant. If we can win 3-0 with Spurs, what are we going to do with Fulham? I believe if they got 4 players out at AFCON, I think it's around about 4. Thought, brilliant, let's have them. And I did feel very confident. And then we played.
Yeah, then the game kicked off. And it was... So I think for me, the big question was going to be whether it was Douglas Luiz or Dominguez. And I'm sure post-match, there's a lot of people that would now be Team Dominguez. But I wasn't disappointed to see Douglas Luiz. You know, the potential of Anderson and Luiz as a midfield pairing is potentially quite exciting. If you can get them to complement each other, then that is something that, you know, I think most people would be very interested to see, but they just didn't get anything right. They just didn't get anything together. They didn't get anything right.
No, that's the thing with Anderson and Sangari as a pairing. Anderson is just absolutely everywhere, isn't he? And Sangari is the mop-up player, isn't he? And I think that's what you kind of need. You need more of like an attacker and you need more of a defensive one in that pairing. That's how I always see it anyway. And I think, personally, I don't think Douglas Luiz should have started. Not through him being a bad player. I just believe that Dominguez would be more of a starting player, then maybe bring Douglas Luiz on with his injury and not having enough minutes anyway. That was my personal opinion of the game. But how did you feel with Victor being in goal again? Obviously, is that his second or his third time now in a row? No, second time in a row, isn't it?
In the Prem, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's difficult with him because I think we said on the last podcast, he's not really done anything wrong. And you can't even really have a go at him for not saving the penalty. I think as soon as, it was a penalty. It absolutely was a penalty.
Of course it was.
We knew it was going to be given. And you knew it was going to be scored. I did sort of stand there and have a brief moment of maybe this is it. Maybe this is the moment that John Victor launches himself into the Premier League spotlight, makes an absolute world-class save, and the away end goes absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And then that's also not what happened.
No.
And it was a real sense of disappointment for me coming out of the end of that first half, because I did see Simon at half time, and he described it as it being a little bit like a game of chess, in that both teams had kind of got each other in check for the whole of the first half and until the penalty. And I kind of knew what he meant about that, because although it wasn't pretty and nobody was setting the world on fire up until the penalty, I wasn't particularly on edge that we were about to concede either.
Yeah.
It felt like it had the makings of a boring, sort of gritty 0-0 game.
Yeah.
But actually, to come away with a point would have been pretty good, given our record at Fulham and where we both are in the league. So at that point, it did have that, up until the penalty, it did have that feel about it. And then when the penalty was given, it was just like, oh, for God's sakes, Forrest, why? Just why?
Yeah.
We just, we spoke about it last week on the pod, just that bit of consistency.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, with the first half, I thought we actually didn't look too bad in terms of we did seem like quite comfortable with the ball. I know what you mean. It's almost like we kind of cancelled each other out. But again, it's that silly mistake to give away, wasn't it? I mean, when we do look at the penalty, it was a very clear penalty. I do feel like it was one of them ones where Douglas Luiz thought about what he'd done, but after he'd done it. It was very clear to see. But yeah, if the shoe was on the other foot, 100% everyone would be up in arms for giving away a penalty. But when you do look at it overall, I mean, I watched it, I saw like the highlights on telly, but how was it for you being there with the penalty? Was it quite clear, first of all, that it was a penalty, or? It
was down the other end, so we were right behind the goal that we were attempting to shoot into, not that we had very many of those. So it was right down the other end, so you couldn't get a clear view of it, in the sense that, you couldn't necessarily see the trailing leg. You didn't see him make contact with the ankle because it was too far away. But at the same time, just the motion of all of it and how it was unfolding, it looked like a penalty. So even though you couldn't see the intricacies of it, nobody was saying, is it, isn't it? Obviously they took it to VAR, but there wasn't rumblings in the away end. Oh, it's not going to get given. It's not going to get. We all knew it was going to get given, that he had hacked him down in the penalty box, and that it was going to get given. And again, everybody equally knew that it was going to be scored. And there was the talk of, we need to come out second half.
Okay.
That was the big thing. It didn't feel at that point, it was really disappointing, but it didn't feel at that point that it was insurmountable, off the back of the performance at Spurs. And even in some respects, the European game, when they equalised, we did still manage to carve something out to come back and win the game. So it didn't feel like it was beyond us at that point. But after the first 5 minutes of the second half had gone, then it was just like...
Yeah. But the thing is, let's have a look at the first half then. So for me, I think the most frustrating thing out of it with Forest in general is I feel like we should have taken advantage in that first half. I think we could have got something out of it that first half. And I think what happens with Forest is we give a lot of teams a lot of respect very early on. We soak up a lot of pressure and we almost invite them in. That's how I feel. And I do feel like we sit back quite a lot. And I feel like if we hadn't have, I feel like we should have taken advantage of them very early on. And I feel like we could have got something out of this game, whether it was a point or whether it was three. But I feel like that is what I get so frustrated about. We are a fantastic squad and a fantastic team with fantastic players who are worth a lot of money. And I'm not saying that, you can buy players for big money and them not perform very well. We all know that. We've seen it in the Premier League, even in this season and every season. However, don't give them as much respect as what we do. How did you feel the first half went, Kate?
Yeah. I've said it before, I do think sometimes we have a tendency to play down as opposed to up. We didn't do that with Spurs. Spurs weren't great, we've covered that. But we were. We stepped up, we bossed it, we scored 3 goals, we had a great time. We didn't do that with Fulham. For some reason, like you say, we sat back, we soaked up pressure, we weren't taking it to them. And it does feel like we could have done. And we should have had them beat in the midfield. Yeah. In terms of the sheer quality of our midfield compared to theirs and what they are a depleted team, as we've said with AFCON. So that is one area where we absolutely should have had the beating of them. And if we could have taken it to them in the midfield, then potentially the final third might have been the knock-on effect of that is that you're more successful in the final third, and that's how you win a game. And we just didn't. And I don't want to sit and dig players out because it's not helpful, but it didn't work. I thought the players, there were some players on the pitch that I didn't feel were really trying very much, and then there were players on the pitch that did seem to be trying, but it just wasn't happening for them. And
let's dig them out, Kate. Who was it? Tell me, because we're a podcast. We've all got opinions, and it's not about singling out certain players, but whether people just didn't have their best game. Like for me, I don't think Savona had his best game. He seemed very unclear, and I mean there was a lot of pressure coming his way. Don't get me wrong, and he's got very big shoes to fill with Aina being out. But I don't think, and he's not a bad player. He just didn't have his best game. And whether it was because of the pressure and he's just not used to it, who knows? But what players did you think, or one, or? So
for me, Anderson.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he had a shocker.
Yeah.
I really do. And he didn't. He just wasn't at the races. He wasn't up to his usual standard, and he looked tired and he looked frustrated. And at the end, the very, very end, he kind of stood on his own in front of the away fans. Most of the other players had been and gone, and he just kind of stood there and kind of half-heartedly clapped, as if he was clapping us, but also really disappointed. And then put his shirt over his head and kind of head down and wandered off towards, I guess, where they go off the pitch, because it's kind of different, isn't it, at Craven Cottage. And I wished I'd filmed it actually, because it felt like that was a tableau of his evening personified. Just a little bit half-hearted, really, really disappointed, and bury your head in your shirt, because you've got to do better than that. You're supposed to be an £100 million player, and he is, and this is what I mean. I don't want to dig him out, but
yeah, but everyone can have a bad day at the office, can't they? And I mean, I know we're only December, but let's be honest, it feels like it's been a long season for Forest already. Mm-hmm. What is it? 3 managers now, and obviously Europe, and just where we are in the table, it has been a long and tiring season already. And I know we're only December, and I know it sounds absolutely stupid saying it, but it has. And obviously, us as fans feel the effects, but also the players do as well. So people are going to have off days. I thought that Murillo seemed quite frustrated yesterday.
Yeah. Although for me, he was better, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Milenkovic was what he got booked for the incident in the second half where he was having a bit of a scrap, wasn't he? Which again was frustration and actually unnecessary. And okay, so it got everybody singing his song in the away end, but it didn't help.
Yeah,
and picking up a yellow card ultimately doesn't help when you don't need to. So yeah, that was a bit difficult. And I have to say, I've seen a lot of people complaining about Morgan again, which does seem to be when we have a bad performance, people complain about Morgan. I actually thought he was okay. I do think that he was trying stuff. There was a little bit of something about him. For me, there was a bit more of a spark, and I did feel that nobody was great, but of the midfield, I thought there was maybe more likely something going to be happening that came through Morgan, but then he was subbed for McAtee, which I heard on the radio on the way home, possibly that was because he got a bit of a knock. I wasn't aware of that. But at the point that substitution was made, and also the Jesus substitution for Taiwo, it was like, why? This just feels like weakening a team that's already clearly up against it. And previously, Dyche's substitutions, you've got to give him a lot of credit for, and they have changed games and changed outcomes. And it felt like those substitutions were just a bit odd.
It's been a very big talking point, the substitutions. I'm glad that you brought it up because a lot of people are talking online about them, and me and my dad have had a very big discussion about it today. I mean, it was 70 minutes had gone and there was still no subs made, was there? And I'm not 100% sure why he doesn't make early subs. If nothing's happening, then something needs to change. Everyone knows that about football. But I don't know whether it was that feeling of, because it was so similar to the Tottenham game, the team, whether he didn't want to fix what wasn't broken.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's so frustrating with Forest, is that you basically put a near enough identical team out, but the game can be so different. This is what I cannot sign in my head. I just feel like Hudson-Odoi and Hutchinson, I'm not 100% sure why in the Tottenham game they could run down that line, ping it into the box, whether they crossed it over or whether they drove it in. But for some bizarre reason, it wasn't happening as much in the Fulham game. Now, we're not there. When the team, where Dyche has his meetings with the team and stuff, we're not there with all the talks and the chats and everything. So we don't know what was discussed and what was said. But now for me, if you've got two excellent wingers like that, both sitting off Gibbs White as well, surely pressing and attacking forward, surely that's an absolute given and is just a natural ability.
Yeah. You, like I say, to me, those substitutions did nothing but weaken us. Yeah. And there was still a bit of a spark from Morgan, which is where you just need a bit of a spark, because Fulham had nothing. They were offering nothing. It didn't feel like Fulham were about to capitalise and go 2-3-0 up at any point in the game, really. I wasn't fearing that. I think Jesus was getting fouled, continuously fouled, and we have to mention our friend Anthony Taylor.
Oh,
you know, I know
his name should not be spoken of in this podcast.
And we knew we were going to sing his song, and we did sing his song, and some variations of his song that were not postable on TikTok. But Igor Jesus was getting fouled continuously fouled, and no bookings, no free kicks were given, and that is disappointing because it does limit what he's able to do.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of service for him. Hutchinson was having a go, pinging a few balls into the box, but in general there wasn't a lot of service, and like I say, he was getting fouled and it wasn't being dealt with. These are excuses. We should have done a lot better. and we just didn't. And I know that Molo and Simon have said to me before, only look to the next game. But the next game's Man City.
Yeah.
And when you come across a Fulham team that are absolutely beatable in that moment in how they are playing, and you don't do it, you don't seize that opportunity to get a point or 3 points, and your next game is Man City, it really does feel like a wasted opportunity. And that's how it feels. Shoulda, woulda, coulda is what I put in my finalysis. That's how I feel about last night's game. There's very little positives to take, and it is just a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether you saw it, Kate, but I watched the post-match interview with Dyche, and what he said is we should have come away with at least a point. And to me, that spoke loud and clear. I feel like the inconsistency at the moment, I don't feel like we're grabbing hold of the games where we should grab hold of, where we can pick up points. And I don't feel like we done basics well yesterday. And when I was watching that interview with Dyche, I felt like he echoed that loud and clear. And he knows it. There's a lot of people, you see all the haters online jump on the bandwagon of, oh god, yeah, see, Dyche, rubbish manager, and all this and that and the other. No, he's not, because when he talks in his interviews, he's saying, yeah, we didn't do the basics well, we didn't do this well. So, I just feel like he knows what needs to be done, but I don't know whether that's getting relayed. And I don't know whether it's a confidence thing with the players on the pitch because of what happened. But I really thought after that Tottenham game, we were just going to springboard from that. I really did.
I'm at the point with it now where I feel like this is going to be our season. We've talked about, I made a joke, all I want for Christmas is a bit of consistency from Forest. And I just feel like, as we stand at the moment, this is how the rest of the season's going to be. Just the up and the down and the up and the down. And I don't want it to be. I want us to string together some good results, a bit of form, a bit of a run, and climb up the table and just put a bit more daylight between us and the bottom three. But you feel like it's going to be a scrappy season that is exactly like the last few games have been. The highs, the lows, the why nots, and maybe we just have to buckle up and say, okay, this is how it's going to be. Let's, because I don't think there's any miracles coming in the January transfer window. I know there's been some talk around Dwight McNeil and his connection with Dyche and Everton and all that, but for me, another winger isn't really top of our shopping list. It doesn't seem to be where the big gaps are. You don't tend to sign anybody an amazing striker in January. That just doesn't seem to be a thing.
But that's what we need the most, Kate. Yeah,
so we have to hope that the return of Chris Wood is going to be our
saving grace.
So one, I think, in general, to put to bed and say, should have done better. Let's do better next time.
Yeah, so literally, see, this is the thing, when you talk with a game like that, it sounds like we're talking about a 0-0 game, doesn't it? Just a stagnant, nothing really much happened. But that is what it felt like. That is what yesterday's game felt like. There isn't much to talk about of yesterday's game because nothing really productive came from it. It was just one that you almost, it's like one where you think, oh, I wish it was just a bad nightmare and I could just get on my day and get on with it. But you do just want to completely forget about yesterday's game. But again, onwards and upwards, and we'll move on to the next game. But what I am going to quickly do, Kate, is I'm going to do an FPL update. Because I've heard, well, I haven't heard, I've seen that you've had quite a good week.
It's a bit better.
What do you mean a bit better? It definitely was better. Well, I'm going to talk about the boys first, as they're not here.
Yeah.
But what I will say is Molo has gone down to 15th. However, but he scored 66 points. And I have also seen, I don't know whether he had Fernandes in his team before, but he did have him in this week, because I definitely put him in this week also, but he only scored me 1 point and is also now injured. So he will definitely be, well, I say ditched from my team, but that's exactly what will be happening. And then Simon, he went down to 7th place. Oh no, what a shame. Down to 7th place. And then me, I went down to 17th place with 62 points, but Haaland definitely saved me, and you definitely had him in your team as well, Kate. But you've kept in 26th place though.
I know.
Even though you scored 87 points. So Roger's got you 15, Haaland got you 32, and Royce got you 11.
I know. What's annoying though is I had Walter Maida on the bench, and was it Timber that I had on the bench?
Oh,
so
okay.
If I'd have done Timber for Gay and Walter Maida for Thiago, then I'd have been in the hundreds. But I'll still take it. I'll take it.
You got 87 points.
Yeah.
I've got 66. But anyway, yes. I also have heard that I need to give a very special shout out to Will, your gorgeous son in his FPL, who scored 75 this week. So he done exceptionally well, and is in 9th place in our Tricky Talks League.
Mm-hmm. He is. He came and showed me, and he said, "Look, I'm above all of you except Simon. I'm above Mollo, I'm above Charles, and I'm above you, Mummy." I'm like that.
Oh, bless his heart. I love that. Love that.
Love him with my 10-year-old.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm quite chuffed that I'm beating my nephew, who is 8. But that's beside the point. I'll take credit where credit's due. One thing that I did want to say as well, that I do know that a lot of us have Bruno Fernandes. And I have looked, and his best replacements at the moment, because obviously there's a 25% chance of him playing because of his injury. So the best replacements for him at the moment, in terms of money-wise as well, are Rodgers and Foden. I do have Foden already. I know you have Rodgers, Kate. So
I have Rodgers and Foden.
Oh, you have both? Oh, nice. But, well, I say that, you watch, I'll now put Rodgers in to replace Fernandes, and he just won't play well, because that seems to just be the continuation of it. And also as well, for over Christmas, game week 18, the deadline, people, is 6:30 p.m. on Boxing Day. So I know you're going to be enjoying your festivities and everything, but make sure you get your transfers in. And also as well, game week 19, Tuesday the 30th at 6 p.m. So make sure you've got those in. But that is everything for my FPL update this week. And we're not doing a quiz, because we're saving it.
I did think, could I steal Mollo's moment and find...
Oh, go on, do Mollo's moment. Do it.
A moment.
A moment.
from yesterday that really blew my mind. But all I could come up with is that they do amazing hot dogs.
Fabulous.
Because I was like, was there a moment where a player did something exceptional that really blew my mind? No, there wasn't.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen.
The
that sums up.
was pretty good in the first half, died off a bit in the second half. Is there a funny chant I could come up with? They're all a bit obvious. But I tell you what, I was absolutely starving, and the hot dogs were amazing. So there's my moment.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That sums up yesterday's game. That Mollo's moment was Kate's moment was the hot dogs. That just goes to show how poor yesterday was. But anyway, do you know what, Kate? Let's have a quick, brief chat about Man City.
Oh, shall we?
Shall we? We've got to address the elephant in the room. Man City.
So I have a question.
Feel? Oh, yes, do it.
Are you captaining Haaland against Forest?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah, because why not? Because if I wasn't, that's the thing, is when you kind of have to put your head on and go, no, I'm going to go with my head. If I wasn't a Forest fan, I most definitely would.
Yeah.
So therefore, and he is absolutely on fire at the moment, isn't he? So why would you not?
Yeah.
How do you think that game's going to go? I kind of want to sleep very heavily for 24 hours and pretend that hasn't happened, and then wake up and then I just look at the score and go, okay, and I'll move on with my day. I'm guessing you're going to the game, Kate?
I am indeed going to the game. Yeah. And so, do you remember before the Liverpool away?
Yes.
And we talked about the podcast prediction league that we do, which I'm still
Yes.
absolutely tanking in. And Simon said that he had predicted the win because sometimes you have to go a bit rogue.
Yes.
And that's how you win at prediction leagues. That's
Have you done
how
that?
you win at FPLs. Okay. So how's about that for a scenario? We have just been absolutely awful against Fulham. Nobody is expecting us to do anything other than get absolutely smashed by Man City, which, we probably will. But what if? What if this is the shock? What if this is another Liverpool away and actually we do all right, we score some goals, we manage them. Hang on. It's fanciful, isn't it? It's fanciful, it's farcical. Is that what's going to happen? Yeah, probably not. Probably just going to get beat, aren't we? But, yeah.
Well, when you look at Man City's run of form, they have won their last 5 games, so that is obviously totally reassuring and not petrifying at all. But again, like you said, what was it? Was that our first season where we drew 1-1 against them, or was that our second?
Oh, I loved that game, and we celebrated
Great
it like
game.
Yes,
we did.
Game.
So again, miracles can happen. I'm hoping that we're on a awful game, great game, awful game, great game kind of sequence. So, and we do, again, I'm not dissing Fulham in any way, shape or form, but we do seem to play better at better teams. Maybe it is...
Yeah, historically, I think that's true of Forest.
Yeah.
We historically can do better against the bigger sides. I think Doku's out.
Okay.
So, because I was thinking about who potentially Savona was going to be
Yep.
up against. So would that make it Cherksey potentially for him? Obviously, Foden's in amazing form. Haaland's in amazing form. O'Reilly is very up and coming, in fantastic form.
Yep. You're not selling it to me, Kate. You're not selling me the win that you're going to predict.
If it's one of those things, isn't it? If we turn up,
Oh, yeah.
if we turn up, if we are organised, if we are ready to battle, if the absolutely fantastic players that we do have, and let's think about that, Milenkovic, Murillo, Anderson, Gibbs-White, we've got some absolutely brilliant players on our team that can go up against Man City and do okay. If we turn up, of course, anything's possible. Anything's possible in the Premier League. Form, fitness would suggest it's not going to be the result that we want. And I don't know how anybody could, in all good conscience, predict anything other than a defeat. But we're Forest fans. We live in hope.
See, that's the thing with me. I mean, it's the likelihood is that John Victor is going to be in goal again, isn't it? So, and then we go to the brick wall of a back four. So we'll do obviously Murillo and Milenkovic and Savona and Williams.
Nico,
Great.
sorry, how did I not say Nico when I was talking about our amazing players?
That's fine, Kate, I'll let you off. And then obviously when you move up into midfield, I would like to see Dominguez start and Anderson. That is what I would feel like would be very comfortable. And then I would do obviously Hudson-Odoi and Hutchinson again. Yep. And then obviously Gibbs-White kind of sitting off both of them with, and I would put Jesus up front, but then I would bring Awoni on. And I would do it I don't know. Oh, it depends,
bring
really.
Awoni on rather than Calamuendo?
Yeah, but that's because I've got a very big soft spot for Awoni. That's my only thing. I want to see Awoni do some kind of miracle where he just comes on and he just scores the winning goal in like the 91st minute or something like that. That's what I want to see Awoni do, and that is just my heart over my head for Awoni. But I'm guessing you'd rather have Calmoendo then. Come on.
I'm not a huge fan of Calmoendo, and I agree with you. I think we've all got a soft spot for Awoni because of when he was great and because he's quite a good character, isn't he? But I do think Calmoendo has scored this season. Mm-hmm. And Taiwo, I know we're harking back to Fulham, and I know we said we were putting this to bed and moving on. It was not a good sub performance, and they brought Calmoendo on in like the 91st minute, which to me was just completely pointless.
Yeah.
And I just think at the moment where they're at as players, it would have made more sense to have brought Calmoendo on. And if you were going to put someone on at 91 minutes, that potentially could have been Taiwo. And Dyche probably maybe likes the kind of striker that Taiwo is or was, and I understand that. But for me, I would bring Calmoendo on over Taiwo at the moment.
Yeah, that's the thing. But that's a really good debate, isn't it? Because who is that case of who would you start and who would you bring on? Like, I could put money on that Jesus is going to start, but the thing is, when you're playing Man City, you need a confident striker. You do need that, and that's where I feel like Awoni just tips Calmoendo in that kind of aspect of more confident, but only time will tell. Oh, I'm just so nervous for the game. But what's your score prediction, Kate, for the Man City game?
I'm going to have to go realistic and say that I think we're probably going to lose 3-1.
Okay. Oh, I had something in my head, and I hope I'm
wrong. I always hope I'm wrong. I hate predicting Forest to lose, but I can't see any way that we win this game.
After, I would have said 3-1. Oh, God. See, the Fulham game's now haunting me again. This is what happens with Forest. They just play not a bad game, but a bad day at the office kind of game. And it just haunts. And do you know what? No, 3-1. I'm going the same with you. I was going to say 3-0, but I do want to give us the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say 3-1 as well.
Consolation goal at some point.
Consolation goal would be great.
Something to cheer for.
Yes, definitely. But what we didn't do, Kate, is we didn't do man of the match for yesterday's game. I know that's going to be a very, very difficult challenge to pick. But who would it be? We haven't got Mollows in, people, but we have got Simon's in, and Simon said Murillo.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree. He was one of the players that wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
I did think, like I always do, about defaulting back to Nico, but actually I think Murillo was better than Nico.
Yeah,
I think Nico was okay. I think nobody was better than okay. But yeah, I'm going Murillo. I'm going Simon. I'm going Murillo.
Yeah, well, that's a hat-trick for Murillo, because that is exactly what I'm going to say. Obviously, like I said, we haven't got Mollows at the moment, but I'm sure he will tell us very, very soon.
I'm sure he will.
Right, so Kate, any other business that you would like to speak about? Or are we just going to do the Men in Black and just erase yesterday's game from our memory? With Mollo's clicking pen.
Any other business? Do you know what? We said right at the beginning of the season, didn't we, that it's a roller coaster ride being a Forest fan.
Oh, yes.
It absolutely is. It's continued to be so. I am also reflecting back on a really mega time of being a Forest fan for me. And I know we're not quite at the end yet. We've got Man City and then we've got Everton before the year turns. But it's great being a Forest fan. It's great. And I know there's the ups and downs, but we love them, we stick with them, and we'll continue to do so and see what the rest of the year brings in the end of the season, see if it's going to bring us any glory or whether it's just going to continue to be which it probably is. But yeah, regardless of what happens at Man City, I'll be there, I'll be cheering them on, and it still gives me a bit of a buzz to think that I'm taking my boys to the City Ground to watch us play Man City in the Premier League. So let's not lose sight of that, everybody.
Oh, yes. Always great to be a Forest fan. So yeah, one thing that I just want to say is the Garibaldi Girls. So this Christmas we were raising money to provide 5,000 sanitary towels and 600 meals for women in need across Nottingham. And our target was £500, and we raised 425 out of that. So we done really well. So yeah, we've been donating a lot to women in need. If you go onto our Instagram, the Garibaldi Girls Instagram, there is a link to donate in the bio as well if you did still want to donate. But yeah, for an amazing cause, and we done very well raising that amount of money for our goal that we did. So
yeah. Big up the Garibaldi Girls, as
big up
always.
the Garibaldi Girls.
And all the stuff, actually, that Forest have been doing
with
the food bank and in the community over Christmas. It's all been important. And I know we made a little joke that Mollo's in the pub, but actually he isn't. He is helping with that. So, yeah.
He definitely is. So, Man City game, Kate, that is next.
It is. We go in with some Christmas spirit and enjoy watching them play against these world-class players. And see if we can hold our own. And we will see you, I believe... Are we doing another one before the end of the year? I feel like we are.
Yes, I believe that we're doing one on the 28th, I think. So it'd be after the Man City game. So this will be...
Which time, hopefully the boys will be back in town. But I say we hope. I don't know. I've quite enjoyed it, Charles.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't hurry back, boys. We're all good here.
Yeah, we're totally fine. It's been great and chaotic, and there's been absolutely zero structure. And we're all here for it. Love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna click this button and see if it plays some exit music. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, and
leave us a good review if you can on Spotify or Apple Pods. And yeah, we'll see you after Christmas.
And a very Merry Christmas to everybody.